Hey guys, how's it going? It is a beautiful day out here, 67 degrees currently. I think our high is in the high 70s, a little bit overcast. Our major project for today is going to be planting up the 9 large containers we have along our east fence line that kind of line our lane. We recently cleaned them out of all their summer annuals and they are ready for something fresh. I've got some gorgeous stuff, but before we go do that, I have a couple of things I want to show you. First, we are going to place a couple of beautiful fish sculptures in our pond area. Some of you may remember the garden tour we put together in July when we went to the Chicago area for the Aquascape event. A garden that belongs to a gal named Peggy Judd, and she walked us through and it was stunning. I think we titled it one of the most beautiful gardens I've ever visited, which is absolutely true. Well, she had some of these sculptures in her garden worked into her pond waterfall area, and she sent these out as a thank you for the tour, which I thought was so incredibly sweet. I remember telling her how much I loved these. She had them worked into some Hakonakloa, kind of toward the bottom of the waterfall area, and I just thought they were such a unique little touch. They weren't like overwhelming the space. They were just this nice little shiny element that I loved. So I was so excited when I received the box with these. They are made by, I think it's Jessie Meyer. I've got the info, hold on. Yep, Jessie Meyer Sculpture Studio. They're called Garden Fish. So we've got a large and a small. I'm guessing this is the 16-inch size and this is the 12-inch size. Look at the color on those. And you can imagine when the sun's out, how brilliant they look. In the note, Peggy said that they look especially good tucked into grasses, which I have to agree with her. That where she had them in her garden was perfect. I've got some Desert Plains Pennisetum toward the back of the original pond that I think that they would look really good. But there's another spot they may end up. I just don't have the plants there yet. So as we walk over here toward the kids splash pad area, you know, we've got that berm right on top of it. We've got the red dragon Japanese maple in so far, but I'm thinking of tucking in a whole bunch of Hakonakloa right along these stones, just to kind of go over the edge and fill that in, and probably some hostas and ferns. I think these would look beautiful in that, especially like right in this area. So you might see a little glimmer, you know, from the beginning of the pathway of something back here that makes you kind of want to come back and see. But since we don't have the plants there yet, I'm going to tuck them in right up here, right in this Desert Plains Pennisetum. That way we'll see them from where we sit in front of the pond. I think this spot will be perfect. Let's give it a try. Look at how beautiful those are. Isn't it amazing how they just look like they're floating in the grass? I remember thinking that when I very first saw them. Such a fun addition out here. Let's take a look from the front of the pond. Oh yeah, look at back there. They're just a nice little accent, but they bring that shine, that pop back there. How fun. So thank you, Peggy, for sending those out. I love them. The second thing I want to show you is kind of a show and tell on a dahlia variety that I really like. And here they are. I just picked these this morning. I just thought you might like to see this gorgeous variety. It's called Salish October Wedding. And they look like an absolute sunrise to me. And I think the undersides are gorgeous. Like, look at the pink. And then you see a lot more of the orange from the top right there. I am not going to be digging most of our dahlias because I have a lot of just repeat varieties. The whole patch is full of so many of the Colorado Classic and Clyde's Choice, a lot of Sonic Bloom, a lot of varieties I've grown for many, many years. And those are just the tubers that overwintered the best. So a lot of those, you know, we're just going to treat them as annuals, let them go. I will let friends come in and dig what they want out of this space. And then I've got a few I want to keep, but this is one of them for sure. And I just like this type. Do they call these like it's not a water lily type, right? It's kind of like a very small dinner plate, but they're not so monstrous. And they're also a little bit more free-flowing in their structure as opposed to the pom-pom, which I really like those varieties. They're easy to work into arrangements, but so are these. They're just like the right size. They can be a centerpiece plant if you want them to be, but they're also a little bit more delicate too. So Salish, which is S-A-L-I-S-H, I'm probably Salish, I don't know if I'm saying it right, October Wedding. These are going to hang out with us right here until we're done with our project. All right, let's head over there. Here are the pots, 9 of them along this fence line. This is probably the last time I'm going to be planting up these pots right here in this location. We are going to be taking this shorter fence out, probably first thing next spring, and we are going to be carrying on with the taller fence over here. In fact, I'm gonna walk down and show you. So right here, and I'll kind of twist so you have perspective, there's the house, and then that's where we were. This is where the taller fence ends. This is where the high tunnel used to be and where the shorter fence also ends. So what we're gonna do is take out the shorter fence and we're going to continue on with this fence right along in the same way. We're gonna do the grass with the maple trees along here. And then this will be the distinguishing line between kind of driveway and horse pasture eventually, which this is a gorgeous look. This has been so, so nice along here. So I'm looking forward to that. It will be so nice to have a very clean look. We'll continue with the grass. Like I said, we're gonna leave the mulberry tree until something, you know, I don't know. We had it pruned really, really aggressively. Was it last year? It might've been last year or the year before. We lost a big branch out of it. And so we had Natural Tree come out and they just did a big overhaul of the tree. They said that they did find quite a lot of rot, and I know this tree isn't gonna last forever, but it's done better this year than I think it ever has, and maybe it was because of that prune job. So if we keep after that, maybe we can prolong the life of this tree. It's just such a big, gorgeous, I don't even know how old it is. The trunk is massive. So we'll have the grass and maple trees except for a break for the mulberry tree. So anyway, this will stay. This will just be a little thing in the grass that has to be there. That was put in by Idaho Power when we had the power poles taken out. There was one here. I think there was one right here. And there were 2 or 3 more along this area. And we did that a while ago when we initially bought this property. So that's the plan. When we do that, of course, the pots will need to be relocated. So we'll continue planting them. They just won't be right here in all a big long row. So this is gonna be kind of their last hurrah. So let's go through the layout. We've got some really beautiful blue spruce trees, and they're a mix of varieties. We've got both baby blue eyes here, which will grow in the end 30 by 15, and we've got Baccarat, which will grow 40 by 20 in the end. They're both crazy hardy, like down to zone 2, and we are a zone 6. So they will do great in these containers over the course of the winter. And then we have a lot of space in the borders where we can pop these out and utilize them in the landscape. So I always like to do that if I can. The other thing we're doing, which we will use in the landscape later, are these hopscotch heucherellas. Aren't these beautiful? So we've got the big bold leaves in the very autumn kind of red and rusty orange colors, along with some of the Nagoya red cabbage. Is this Nagoya red or Nagoya, I don't know. Anyway, more purpley in color, and these gorgeous violet pansies. After a summer of them all being mismatched, it was a fun experiment again, but they had sustained damage a while ago from a windstorm, and they've been looking kind of sad for weeks at this point. So I'm very excited to get these all planted up. Now we did leave the soil. You can see right here, in fact, they were watered last night, so we'll have nice moist soil to introduce these root balls to. But the soil's not super taxed in most of the containers. Oh, we've even got worms. Look at this. Oh, a whole bunch of worms. What? It's like a worm farm in here. What in the world? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just in that little, 10. Oh, that's so fun. Anyway, oh, there's a whole bunch in here too. Wow. Anyway, I'm going to be putting some Biotone starter fertilizer in the soil just to amp it up a little bit, and then we will backfill with some fresh soil if we need to. So I've got our soil right here, and I am going to attempt to leave one of the tags on the blue spruce trees so we can differentiate varieties, since they do grow a little bit differently. Anyway, I'm going to try to keep record of that somewhere. I'm hoping that most of them have a tag like this. If not, they do have blue tags. I'll just have to move them down the tree so we can't see them. Let's walk through planting this first one together, and then we will take off and do the rest of them. Okay, I came out last night to lay these out to see if I liked the arrangement, and I really liked it. So I'm excited for you to see. But we got to get some Biotone in here first. Oh, there's worms in this one too. Oh, that's so good for our plants. Exciting. So a little bit of Biotone. And usually I don't really try to work that in all that much. It'll get worked in as we plant. I love blue spruce trees, but they are so pokey. Ugh. Root system looks good. I'm gonna fluff it just a little bit. See it right there? Not too bad. The roly-poly right there. Big one. Okay, now we just need to position this in the center and in a direction that we like it. Yeah, that looks pretty from all sides. Then we are gonna go in with our 3 heucherellas. And I sort of like to tip the root ball just a little bit so you can see the top of the plant really nicely. This one will go in on this side. In fact, I'm going to scoot this one over a little bit, I think. There we go. There we go, beautiful. And then one facing the back. Okay, at this point I can kind of see, let me get you guys closer. So I can see in here where the root balls meet up and where I might need some extra soil because the rest of the plants we're putting in here are little foragers. So we're going to fill it up with regular potting soil. There, that should do. So now we have our beautiful kale, which we will put right in the center of the two heucherellas. Again, sort of tipped on its side a little bit. And then our pansies. Gosh, they're gorgeous. So at this point, I'm just going in around the root balls, feeling with my fingers, making sure that the root balls are completely covered on all the plants. Okay, our next pansy in right here. And then I'm also going to tuck one in right behind the kale, kind of fill in any space that we might have. Keep in mind with these fall containers, we won't see a tremendous amount of growth. I think we have enough heat for the pansies to bulk up a little more, but we won't see a lot of growth on the kale, so we can really put things in close together and they will be completely fine. Let's fill in the other two spots. Just found a tag, it is Nagoya red kale. Pansies going. And with the irregularity in the shape of these spruce trees, some spots you'll find that having a third pansy back in here is kind of necessary to fill in the space. I mean, not necessary, but you know what I mean. It looks a little better to fill in with the blank spots. In front, the tree was a lot more thick. There. Look at how beautiful this mix is. It looks very fall, but very fresh at the same time. And I love that we're gonna be able to use these out in the garden as well as the heucherellas when we're all done. And pansies and kale hold up really well in our cool temperatures. So I think we're gonna get lots of enjoyment out of those as well. So we're just gonna do the same thing for the rest of the 8 containers down the line. I don't have any more of the heucherellas in my gator. I need to go get those out of the high tunnel. So in order to make room for that, I think we'll pop each blue spruce tree down by a container, unload all of those. We need to go get the kale and pansies from the greenhouse. So anyway, we'll just plug away until they're all done. This is beautiful. What's this? Reminiscent crema. Oh. right, we got them all planted, all fresh and looking great. Little hard to see at the moment because they're now in the shade, and we did end up getting some sun today, but they just look so good. You can see them better close up here. Look at those beautiful plants. And the blue spruces will be fun. I've never done blue spruce in these pots before. So it's just a very different look, and we can toss some Christmas lights on them. Maybe, oh, there's one that's kind of a little brighter down here. Let's go take a look. Some of them are a little bit Charlie Brown-esque, but I think that kind of lends to the sweetness of the pots. But yeah, look at that. Oh, and they are in the full sun in the morning time. So here we are, I think we're late afternoon at this point, and they're just now getting into the shade. And the container at the very end is definitely more shaded. You can see underneath the mulberry, but the mulberry tree will lose its leaves here really soon. So the plants will be getting quite a lot more sun than they are right now. This one looks especially good. Oh, I love it. And these pansies just look so good. Purple goes with everything. So they look great with the more orangey red. They look good with the kind of cool blue. It's just gorgeous. I might come along and pop some picks in here. I'm gonna go through what I've got, but I think I've got some that have some like berries, some orangey looking berries that I think would be fun. Kind of worked in as a second layer. So we'll have the spruce and then maybe some picks coming up that have a little bit more brightness, and then our lower layer of plants. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. But these pots are set for the rest of the fall and winter. Our forecast looks awesome. For the next 10 days, we're still in the high 70s. I think there might be a couple of days in the low 80s. Our nighttime temps are now in the 40s, and I think there might be a couple in the high 30s. But even then, it's in the high 30s for maybe like a half hour or an hour in the morning. So it's not a really long time that these plants will be in the cold. So, you know, like I said, these plants won't put on a ton of growth. The pansies will bulk up. I expect that, but the rest of them will just kind of sit and look like they do now. And sometimes if we have a more mild winter, we will have pansies in here for spring. We won't have to swap anything out, which would be nice. And I'm not sure at what point in the spring we'll get to the fence project. In fact, Aaron was like, are you sure you want to plant them up for fall? Do you want to just take after this area now? But at this point, if we did that, we would have to excavate more and have Chad come in and level this out and put in new sprinklers for our grass right here. And we don't have the trees, so I'm just not ready to do that yet. I kind of want to have all of our ducks in a row and have everything ready to go before we do that. And I feel like right now we would be racing the clock, because after the 10-day, who knows, we might just shoot right into late fall or early winter sort of weather. You just never know. It usually happens pretty fast. But we are starting to get some gorgeous color. Let me show you a couple of things to end things off. So the Surefire white begonias still looking absolutely gorgeous. Boy, they were a slow starter, but so worth planting right here. A definite repeat for sure. And the boxwoods are happy and not overtaken by the plants, and neither is the walkway. You know, the years that I've planted Superbena and Supertunias in here, they're pretty plants, but boy, they want room to grow, and they want to grow over sidewalks, so they kind of lend to a little less of a formal feel. But right over here, our purple ash tree is beginning to turn. I can see this tree from one of our bedroom windows, and it's one of my favorites in the fall. I'll go to the other side here in a second so we can see it in the more sunshine. But I just wanted to take a look at our Gatsby pink hydrangeas. These are the oak leaf hydrangeas. You can see just how beautiful of a show they put on in the fall, and our opalescence phlox still has color. See, this is why I love this variety so much. It's been in color since early summer, maybe even late spring, early summer, all the way through now. And then we have the beautiful blooms from the oak leaves. And then we've got the deep burgundy all the way to the bright red. There's a little bit of orange in there, just gorgeous. Yeah, we can see a little more color on this side where the sun is shining. Already lost a whole bunch of leaves. You can see a whole bunch of bare branches, but oh, I'm loving it. There's color on the locust tree over there and the red point maple. Anyway, guys, I think we're gonna get out here in the next day or two. The forecast looks amenable to a tour. So we'll probably do more of an overall look at how things are doing. During the Dream Stream project, we kind of, lose sight of everything else in the garden because we're so focused. So now we're kind of regrouping, and we are getting ready for the boxwoods in the cut flower garden. Those were delivered today. So we're gonna haul into that here really soon as well. Anyway, lots of exciting things yet this fall. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.